Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to my channel. Today is day 7 in the 7 days of Sinn. Woo! The last day. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody who is celebrating. I'm kind of indifferent about Valentine's Day. I think it has its place. I think it is a good day to think about the people that we care about, our significant others, or like family and friends that we consider loved ones. So I feel like Valentine's Day does have its place. I know it's a Hallmark holiday and all of that kind of stuff, but I think it's good to take time out of our busy schedules to acknowledge the people that we care about. So today, in true Alexandria Ashcroft fashion, we're going to be talking about, I say the last topic. For the last topic is the best topic. I say the best for last. On this one, romance and lust. The delicate balance. That's what I'm calling this day right now, this episode. That's so funny. So I'm going to be talking about romance today and lust and all of that amazing content that I love to talk about because I like to write it. I think it's befitting for the day of love, lust, and all the other shenanigans that one wants to get into, as long as you're safe about that stuff. So why did I put my topics in this order? So I do feel like the last 6 days, and if you haven't checked out the first 6 days, go ahead and do that. Check that out. But I feel like the first 6 days are kind of like the fundamentals, kind of like from a fundamental level, how I look at writing and how I approach writing. And specifically for this 7-day series, I looked at how I approach writing in relationship to my newest novel, Sinnful, which is available in paperback and ebook. So check out your favorite retailer. It's probably there. I sell on my website, and Amazon has both as well, in case you don't have a favorite retailer. So if you are not familiar with me, Alexandria Ashcroft, I am a romance author. I also write erotic fiction. I kind of think of them really similar and the same. But anyway, there is often, not always, but often explicit content, explicit sexual content in my stories. And so today I'm going to be talking about like how I approach romance versus sex and how I tie it all together into making sure that the focus stays on the romance of my characters, which is the focal point. The plot always centers around my characters. So the first thing that I ask, so I did mention that sometimes I have explicit content and sometimes I don't. So the first question I ask is, should I put explicit content in this story or not? Is it going to help the story, the plot, and the character's journey, or is it going to hinder or distract from the character's journey and the plot? I often make the sex, if there's going to be explicit sex in there, it's one of my subplots, which means it is one of the underlying currents in the story. It's either helping or hindering the intimacy and the romance of the characters. It's either causing confusion or it's enhancing the character's relationship. So how can it enhance? Well, it can enhance when you're engaged in sex with a partner who is, both partners are giving, you're exploring and discovering different things. Well, the character is exploring and discovering different things about who they are, how they're interpreting the stimulation, how this experience, which is unique. Like, I look at sex as a unique experience between the parties involved. So in Sinnful, most of the chapters are sexual encounters between Lacey and Devlin. And it's a moment where just the two of them are together and they're having a unique moment that they don't share with just, everybody doesn't have that connection with them. And that's kind of how I think of sex. Like, it's not just, mindless copulation or just sex because it's a erotic fiction, so it has to have sex in it and all that stuff. Like, no, I really think of it as a subplot. It's a part of the story. It's a part of the development of the characters. It's a part of their romance and their intimacy and how their relationship grows, how it helps or how it hinders their relationship and the journey of their relationship. So I do look at it as a tool. It's a tool, and it's an undercurrent embedded in a part of the story. It's not just an add-on. Sometimes when I do critiques, and this is even for my own fiction before it gets published, like some of my earlier drafts are kind of just like, I could cut this sex scene out and the story would be exactly the same. That usually means that you don't need that explicit content in there, that it's not really adding to the story. It's just kind of there. And I'm sure you've seen movies where a sex scene happens, it's over, and you're looking around like, okay, that was a good intermission. Can we, what was the point of that? Like, that was a waste of film. Why'd they do that? It really didn't add anything to the story. Like, it was just kind of thrown in there so, a bare breast could be seen. Okay, fine. Ooh, bare breasts. That's exciting. So my second kind of tip, I guess, so my first tip was ask yourself if it's necessary. Should I have explicit content in this story? Does it make sense? Could the story live without explicit content and still be the same story? If I decide to put explicit content in the story, how is it enriching the story? How is it complementing the character's journey to love and romance and intimacy? My second tip is never allow the sex to lose focus of the actual story. The actual story, for me personally, because I'm a romance author, is the romance. It's the romance, it's the intimacy, it's the character's personal growth, so that they can get to a place where they can love on the other partner in a way that grows the other partner. Like, you're there to enhance your partner's there to enhance you and complement you. And sex is just a part of that. And it adds to the closeness and the vulnerability and all of the stuff that, I guess all the stuff isn't a very good description. Maybe I'll go into detail about that later, but it should be, it shouldn't take away from the focus. It should enhance the focus. And so I kind of was talking about the lust part. So now the fun part. I don't know why. I love the romance part. Now, actually, I enjoy the sex part for a couple of different reasons. I enjoy the sex part, explicit content, explicit sex, or sex in the relationship often before there's a romance, for a couple of different reasons. First of all, I feel like it's very current. It's a lot of people enter into sexual relationships before they enter into romantic or intimate relationships. People will often have sex with somebody before they really date them and determine whether or not they want to spend the rest of their life with somebody. And I think that's a very current, contemporary theme, where, say, in Regency romance or historical fiction, it was date before you mate. You would go through the dating process before you, and often marriage before sex. And that's a lot of books that are written in that time. That's very current for them. So I feel like this is a very current issue, having sex before entering into a romantic or intimate relationship with somebody. So kind of just like working through that and showing that there is possible to like not get each other and work through it, work towards understanding somebody. I mean, some people you just won't understand. I'm not saying that that's not a real thing. It is, but like, having sex isn't the end. It doesn't ruin. It doesn't necessarily have to ruin a relationship, or ruin something more than just sex. There can be romance and intimacy after sex. So in Sinnful, I always like to bring it back to Sinnful because this series is specifically geared towards Sinnful and those characters and their journey. So Devlin and Lacey's sexual relationship started 5 years before Sinnful started in a short story that I wrote called Lacey's Sinn. Excuse me, that short story is available for free on my website at this point in time, and it's also available on Wattpad for free, obviously. Their relationship started off as a pure, shameless copulation. They were just sexually attracted to each other. In fact, they even recognized that, you know what, I don't necessarily like this person. I wouldn't take them home to meet my mom, but he's fine, okay? She's gorge, and I want to copulate with them. That's exactly what they do, and they're done with it. That's the end of Lacey's Sinn. It's very much so erotic fiction. Sinnful takes it many steps forward. It starts off 5 years from Lacey's Sinn. So 5 years after Lacey's Sinn, these two characters meet again. They're in different places in their lives. Life happened to them over the past 5 years, and they're just in a different mindset. And so they look at each other differently. And they start kind of back where they left off for all intents and purposes, and they do jump back into sex. And then that kind of turns around, and later on in the story, like when they grow to figure out they want more from the other person, and they finally get on the same page about what they want from the other person, then that's when like the romance and the intimacy and the trust and the vulnerability really starts to open up like a flower. And I don't know, I personally think that process is really beautiful for them. I enjoyed writing it, and from the awesome feedback that I've been getting from some of my readers, it was really enjoyable to watch them grow into love and grow into understanding. And one of the comments that I actually made was at the beginning of the book is very much so about friction. There's just lots of friction. They're just not getting each other. They're not saying eye to eye about things. They're very strong in their head about what they want and how they see this person. Somewhere along that journey, that breaks, like that very ego type of mindset breaks down, and they're open enough to see beyond like their vision of how things should be, sort of thing. So there's always going to be tension when you don't understand somebody. And Lacey and Devlin proved that better than anybody, okay? As long as they weren't willing to hear and see and appreciate the other person for who they were, where they were in that moment. And being open to caring for them despite all that stuff, in spite of that stuff, or because of that stuff. They're always going to be like stuck. So, yeah. There's always going to be tension when you don't understand somebody, just as a general thing. So I do have a question, not a trivia question, just like a question. Saying it twice means more. No. My question is, so Lacey and Devlin are often looked at as opposites. I don't necessarily think that they're opposites. I do think that their focuses are different. And they're very strong in the focus that they have. So it does make a lot of their interactions seem very opposite, but I don't actually think they're very opposite. I think they have a number of things in common that they don't really recognize until they stop being in conflict with each other all the time and listening to each other. But my question is, do you believe that opposites attract, or that like energy attracts like energy? What do you think? Let me know. I might even respond to this in like an Ask Alex or something like that. If you're wondering what Ask Alex is, it's a little special that I put on my Instagram channel, and I'll probably move to Facebook with more, like with longer answers. But basically, I'm just answering questions. So your questions, wherever questions. And yep, I'm just answering the questions, and it's called Ask Alex. It's pretty self-explanatory. Follow me on Instagram if you're not following me on Instagram. Like my Facebook page. I'm going to be posting more content on Facebook. I'm working on it now. I'm working on a lot of stuff. Oh my gosh, I'm working on a lot of stuff. Okay, I need to stop working on a lot of stuff and chill out. But yeah. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Again, this is the last day of 7 days of Sinn. It's exciting. Like, as fun as this was, like, it was actually fun reflecting on Sinnful, but I'm tired of making videos. Okay. I'm tired. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not subscribed. I have more content coming. Make sure to check out Sinnful. Purchase a copy on my website, paperback and ebook. So this is a paperback version off of my website. So this is the quality that you're going to get on my website, just so you know. And also paperback and ebook on Amazon and other retail locations. So check your favorites. Thanks again. The trivia questions, there are trivia questions, and there'll be a link to the survey for the trivia questions down below. I'll probably leave that open for another couple of days before I draw for winners. And that's all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. It was just awesome doing this and getting your feedback so far on Sinnful. Please keep it coming. Email me, alex@alexandriaashcroft.com, and let me know what you think once you read the story. I'm also posting free chapters on my website, so make sure that you check that out if your funds are low or whatever. The whole book will be posted on my website for a very short period of time, so make sure you bookmark that. All right, thanks again. Take care. Bye.